Hello, everybody. How are you today? Welcome. I'm actually quite nervous for this stream. It's the first time I've properly kind of gone ham, and I've spent the whole day prepping for the Happiness Anonymous share show, so I'm quite excited. I've also had quite a week with GISH, which is the greatest international scavenger hunt the world has ever seen. I spoke about it in last week's live stream. I also spoke about it in last week's podcast, I believe. But I've spent the whole week being creative, traveling out to Buckingham Palace to decapitate a bobblehead of the Queen to make her a Pez dispenser, and create really crazy, wonderful things, which has really, really inspired this next week's episode of the Happiness Anonymous podcast. So, I'm super excited. I've been sat here with my ukulele, with Persephone stickers on it. We won't talk about the creators of that, but we will spread the love of Firefly. And I've been spending the whole week being really, really creative, and it's been a lot of fun and quite hectic considering next week, starting tomorrow, I open my Edinburgh Fringe show, which is part of the virtual Free Fringe for PBH Free Fringe. I'm super, 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 super excited for it. I've had some amazing, amazing shares. The one thing that's amazing about GISH is that you see so many people's creativity in response to something that they care about, in response to this beautiful, beautiful thing that is trying to change the world, and it's random acts of kindness. And this GISH has been very special because alongside doing GISH, I've also been speaking to a lot of people about contributing to the Happiness Anonymous share show that's coming up. It's playing for the whole of the rest of the month. I'm so excited. And so many people have already sent me some really beautiful, moving, funny, fantastic shares that I am so, so, so excited to share with everybody and to celebrate, because it is something that I think is important. Clearly, by doing the Happiness Anonymous show and the podcast and the share show and accidentally, inadvertently creating a brand. But I think it's very, very important to let people have the opportunity to share, whether it's something that is their happiness or a thought on their happiness or something like that. So if you want to comment on this video, if not, go over to your email and send me any kind of creative share in response to this idea of happiness, and send it to happinessanonymousshare@gmail.com. I should have some kind of overlay to put onto the screen. I will write that down as a to-do before tomorrow's show. I'm so excited, but I will, at the end of recording this podcast, I will go through the lineup for the Happiness Anonymous share show, because we actually have a lineup. It's incredible. And the show is very, very dear to me as well. And not only is it part of Happiness Anonymous, but it's also a process that I've put myself through that is part of the work we do here on the podcast of bettering ourselves. So, one moment whilst I sip some water before I get pillow mouthed too much. So, I'm going to start the podcast now. And if you are wanting to, hello, Kevin. Wow, I'm getting comments. This is fantastic. I've never seen comments before in this thing. Hi, Kevin. How are you doing? Kevin, I'm very excited to share your share as well on the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. But I'm going to start the podcast now and start recording the podcast. And it's going to be a little bit more interactive. It's going to be something that we can actually do together, and quite a response to not only GISH, but also Edinburgh Fringe and also the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. And I'm very excited to sort of talk about what I'm going to do. So, as per usual, with the recording of this podcast, I am going to, in a very echoey room, still set up my backup recording, because although we may not always be prepared, we can always prepare to utterly fail. I hope you guys are all doing well. It's very, very It's a very, very interesting time, and I'm just very happy. Hopefully the podcast is far less rambly than this. It should be. Right. So, we are recording. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Anonymous podcast. My name is Jem. How are you today? Today, I am checking in. Really, really excited and very, very exhausted. And to be honest, truly, truly inspired. This past week, I have been taking part in the charity event that happens annually, as well as with mini hunts throughout the year, called GISH, the Greatest International Scavenger Hunt. This is a charity event for Random Acts Charity. It is run by Misha Collins and Charlie Capon, and it is something that takes part with thousands of people around the world, where it inspires you to be incredibly creative. It inspires you to jump out of your box and get out of your comfort zone. And I've been doing that for a week. So I have got a lot of remnants of the last week and its craziness around me, including customized Pez dispensers, signage, paint. I'm very much sat in a bombshell and a bomb site right now. But one of the things that GISH every single year reminds me is the power of doing. Now, I know in previous episodes on this podcast, I have spoken about, just do it. I've gone after that meme of just do it, you can do it. But I haven't really expanded upon it. And I think right now I really, really want to. Right now, I think I'm in a position to be able to do that. Now, in a couple of other episodes, I've mentioned how I am currently in therapy. One of the things that I'm in therapy for is anxiety around this idea of perfectionism, anxiety around that thing where that anxiety stops me from doing stuff. That anxiety stops me from going out into this world and being gishy. Now, gishy comes from gish. You can be a gisher if you take part in gish, but something can be gishy, whether it's completely crazy as a task or whether it's an attribute that you can attribute to yourself as being gishy. Being gishy is being completely willing to say death to normalcy, be completely willing to be absolutely unapologetically you. Be weird, be fun, be crazy, say yes, but not too many yeses. And being gishy is basically living your life to the utter full by doing. And Gish, this is why this has come into this podcast. Gish inspires that. Gish demands that. You've got a week to get through 300 tasks that are all crazy. And it's so much fun. But the lesson we can learn from Gish is that doing something without sitting there and ruminating over the how or the what ifs or all of those things that can induce anxiety, that is a really good way to live. Because thinking something through, having a plan, yes, perfectly all right. We all need a plan, otherwise, where the hell are we going? But there is a point, and I know it has affected me quite deeply, especially in the last year or so, where if I don't know exactly how to get every single step to perfect, I stop. I just don't do. And that has stopped me from doing so many things that I've so, so, so wanted to do. It has stopped me from chasing my dreams. And I'm somebody who most people say chases their dream quite hard. And Gish this year really reminded me of that. There was a moment where I had decided to take one of my photos with a giant sign, just a colorful sign with arrows pointing to where the rest of my team were on the planet. Kind of like a sign out of that TV show MASH. And I decided, because I live in London, where else to do it than Buckingham Palace, in front of Buckingham Palace, because wouldn't that create an amazing image? And I got so excited about that. And I got so excited about this idea of, yay, we can have a day trip to go to Buckingham Palace. That's just fun anyway. But alongside that excitement also built quite an anxiety, there was the thought of, well, what if I get stopped? What if I get looked at weird? What if the police stop me for holding onto a stick that's, what if I get asked? What if this? What if that? What if? And I fell down the what if rabbit hole. And when I finally got there, nobody looked at me. Absolutely nobody cared. And I built myself up, and I felt that my heart beating fast, and I got so excited / nervous / anxious. And then thankfully my other half was there, and he was the one who took the photo, so I got the perfect photo. But that's all it was. It was just a photo. And I kind of very much in the moment went, you gave yourself so much trauma, to use that word quite flippantly, over what is just a photo. You've packed your bag full of crafted things to turn into a sign. You've stood in front of Buckingham Palace and you've taken a photo just like everybody else. And in that moment, I realized, there is so much anxiety that you can build yourself up to, even for something as small as taking a photo with a really fun sign, that it can really stop you from doing things. I did that task on the last day of a 7-day hunt, and I planned to do it on the first. And I kept putting it off because the weather wasn't great, or it's an hour away, or maybe it's not an hour away, or I haven't done the sign properly yet, or this or that. And I kept putting things in the way. So this is what I want us to do. This is a little bit more active, I think, in the moment. All of us have something that we really want to do. And I want you to right now think about that thing that you really want to do, whether it's something that you've wanted to do for years or wanted to do for days, or something that you've wanted to do only now because you've thought, hey, I'll customize my own Pez dispenser. I want you to think about that thing. And now, once you've got that thing quite clear in your mind, I want you to genuinely and honestly answer this. What is stopping you? Why not? What is stopping you? And be honest with yourself. If it's something like, I don't have enough time, why aren't you making that time? If it's something you really, 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 really want to do, then you will make the time. So why aren't you making that time? A lot of our anxiety, a lot of things that stop us from doing things can stem back primarily to fear. It's this fear of uncertainty. What if? What if? And it can also, you can sit there and go, I'm scared of failure. What if it doesn't turn out the way I want it to? What if I embarrass myself? What if? And there it is. There's that phrase again. What if? And what if is entirely theoretical. So really, what is stopping you from doing what you really, really, really want to do? Maybe it's that you don't really want to do it. And if that's the case, then cool. Maybe you've just realized something and ticked something off of your to-do list without even having to do it. Amazing. But if it's not that you want to do it, maybe you're sitting there going, I don't have enough information. Well, then what's stopping you going and get that information? Maybe you keep forgetting about it. That's fair enough. Question why. If it's something that you really, really, really want to do, write a big sign. Schedule time. Make time. Do it. There's nothing wrong with being scared of failure. There's nothing wrong with being scared of being embarrassed. There's nothing wrong with, any of these reasons. But being aware of them can really help you and facilitate you and motivate you, I think, to do it and to stop thinking about it and just go out and take life by the balls and get the thing that you want. And God help you. I really hope that you aren't sitting there going, well, I really want to do this, but I don't think I'm good enough. Because that, my friend, right there, that is a lie. Take it from me right now, wherever you are listening to this, whenever you are listening to this, you are good enough. You are absolutely good enough. You are worthy enough to have the things that you want in life. You are worthy enough of going and having that joy of doing whatever it is that you want. And I really hope as well that you don't stop yourself from doing something because you feel it's not your place, because that is also social construct. That is a different rant as to how things control you, and do you really want to be controlled by anyone other than yourself? No. So one of the things that's really helped me start to remove that inertia, start going and doing, is really examining why I'm not doing it in the first place, and realizing that all of those things that stop me are just me. And that might be scary, but at least that then hands it back to my control. Because I'm forever the one who's like, oh, I really want to do something, but I don't have time. Make time. Say no to something that you don't really want to do, that you don't really have to do, and do the thing that you want to do. Now, this is very much what GISH embodies, and that's where this idea started. That's where this inspiration started, was GISH. Was you can just go out and ask for what you want, and 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get it. So why not? And go and have fun and live life as much as you possibly can. And Gish is where that started. And coming up, segue, this week is my show for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. Now, I'm not bringing this just up as a plug, although, yes, please watch my show. It's on pretty much every day other than Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on whatever channel you are listening to this or watching this on. It'll be there. It's fantastic. But the Happiness Anonymous Share Show is something that also in its practice embodies me trying to really get over this idea of perfectionism, me really trying to get over this idea of this voice that says, what if? Because usually I am an incredibly over-prepared, brings my notes and my notebook and extra thoughts and thinks of every outcome and sits and over-prepares and has 1,000 different notes. I'm usually that person. The Happiness Anonymous Share Show is an idea I have that is dear to me, that I am also very aware is very dependent on other people contributing to it. So yeah, I've got a couple of things that I really want to do that can happen or can't happen. Very much depends on who's going to contribute. But if I very much realized on the offset that on top of all of this perfectionism, what if that I have and do to myself, there is also a level of when it's other people contributing. If I tried to prepare as much as I usually do, I probably would have hospitalized myself weeks ago, because I probably would have been so stressed and I wouldn't have been able to function, because I'm relying on other people and I don't really like doing that. And yes, I'm working with that with my therapist. But the Happiness Anonymous Share Show for me is the embodiment in its process of just going with the flow and just doing. And it's so exciting. It's anxiety filled, but in a really good way, where I am opening myself up, and I'm showing unfinished poetry, unfinished thoughts and prose, and finished poetry and finished prose, because some of it's got to be good. But I'm also showing and sharing other people's stuff, and people who have just taken up the mantle and gone, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get involved. This sounds fun. They have been gishy. And I am so, so, so excited for that. So this episode, I really, really wanted to talk about Gish. I really wanted to talk about this idea of being gishy and get gishy with it, to mix all of the different references and memes. But I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to encourage everybody to really examine and stop and think, we could all have everything we ever wanted. We've just got to go and get it. And why aren't we? And that sounds big. Probably is, but don't think of it as big. Just think of it as this is something you got to do, and you are the only person in your way 9 times out of 10. Sometimes we do have a legitimate reason, in which case, yeah, do what you can to get rid of that reason and try chase your goals that way. But yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. This is a very dear episode to me. And I'm very, very excited for the past, very, very excited for the future. And I will be sharing various different things from GISH, as well as various different things from other people and myself and my past self, maybe even my future self. Maybe I can spin that with the Happiness Anonymous Share Show that's playing from the 9th to the 29th of August as part of the PBH Virtual Free Fringe. But you'll find out all about that on my social media, I guess. Happiness Anonymous Show. That's the end of that promo. But thank you. I hope that you are motivated at the very least to try and take one step today as you're listening to this. Take one step today that takes you closer to that thing that you really, really want. That's all you have to do. One step after the other. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. This is just I'm going to start that again. This is just a reminder that I am not a professional. I am just a girl on a mission trying to figure out this thing we call happiness. If you are looking for some more help or more advice, please reach out to the heroes listed in the description of this podcast. Right, I'm actually going to have to edit that last little bit out. There you go. Stop. Done. Saved. I enjoyed that. Hello to everybody who's still watching. I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of a sneak peek. Tomorrow's episode of the Happiness Anonymous Share Show, actually, the opening ceremony, excuse me, will actually focus a lot on GISH a little bit. I'm going to be sharing some more of the Pez Dispenser adventures, as well as some adventures in Edinburgh, because I think for a show that is mostly the deadline came because of Edinburgh, I feel like that is something that should be marked and is a big thing that is in my happiness, in a lot of people's happiness, is this idea of Edinburgh and the Fringe. But talking of lineups, we've got the Happiness Anonymous Share Show lineup. Let's see if this does this. I'm going to click on that. No. Ooh, there you go. For anybody watching, that is the Happiness Anonymous Share Show lineup. I'm going to squeeze myself in there. So, tomorrow at 8 p.m. every day. I even have a Twitch account right now. I am streaming to YouTube, Facebook, which is Gemma Rolston, which is my like page. I'll be streaming there. I'll be streaming to YouTube, which, yes, you can go through the archives and find out all of my YouTuber and how-to days back from, 2-3 years ago. Which I really miss and should be something that I put back onto my to-do list because I really want to do that. And there's nothing that stops me other than, me. So yeah, I'll be doing that. And also I've created a Twitch channel because I like Twitch. Yes, woo, definitely woo, Kevin. So tomorrow we've got the opening ceremony. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be sharing lots of different crazy things, and I'm really, really excited for that. Then on Wednesday, because Tuesday I felt like I was going to have a day off. Not necessarily, it was mainly just because that fit into the plan, and then now I'm sat here going, Tuesday sounds like fantastic news considering I've maybe slept 8 hours over the last 4 days. So Tuesday I'm sleeping. But then on Wednesday, Joe Ranchka from the Theatre Pitch podcast, also another member of my company, OFITD Productions, he is joining us and joining me to talk about. The topic will be, what is your approach to happiness? And this started with this podcast, the Happiness Anonymous podcast. I've spoken to several people about this idea of what is your approach to happiness. Joe is somebody who's notoriously pessimistic and notoriously not for happiness. And I had shied away from that at the beginning of the Happiness Anonymous podcast and including him in those chats. And now I'm like, you know what? We're going to do something that's really fun and get Joe's opinion on that. Then Thursday, we've got a special share. And basically every Thursday, we've got special shares. And they are something that I felt like they're fantastic ideas. They're quite interactive. They're going to be live streamed, and they couldn't fit into the half an hour, 45 minutes of normal share shows because they're a giant idea, but they're specials, and I'm so excited for them. Then every Friday, we are going to be having the share show. We're going to be having that cabaret of joy, and I'm so, so, so excited for it. This is where I'm going to be sharing a load of people's shares. If you are one of those people, I will let you know which show. And of course, if I sit there and go, oh, wow, there are so many people who are sending in shares, then I can scrap a load of the other stuff and we'll just do it that. Because for me, the contribution of shares. But Friday the 13th, I know that's going to be, there's been quite a few people who have shared stuff that is got a lot of music. And if you know anything about streaming, streaming sites don't like you using music. So in an attempt to not get completely muted or taken down, especially in the first week, especially for Friday the 13th, that episode will be on YouTube. It will be a YouTube link that I will send out. I will put a little bit of a live stream out at the beginning just to redirect you and remind you, so you can just keep coming back to this and I'll tell you where to go. But that's the one with all of the music, and I'm so, so excited for it. Saturday the 14th. I do the Theatre Pitch podcast. It's a different podcast I do with my company. It's with Joe Ronchka. It is with Sean Brady. And it's also with special guests. We're doing a few specials basically for Edinburgh, and I'm so, so excited for it. And we've recorded them already. And the Theatre Pitch podcast, for anybody who doesn't know, is we all take a random online encyclopedia article, a Wikipedia article, and we each come up with how we would turn that into a theatre show, and we pitch it to each other and see who has the best pitch. And this year for the Edinburgh Fringe, for the virtual Fringe, we're doing 8 specials, 6 specials, 8. We're doing a number of specials where we have special guests as well. And the additional rule is it has to be an Edinburgh Fringe show. So that completely went mad and fantastic, and I pitched leggings in one of them, and I still want those leggings. Oh my goodness. By the end of Edinburgh and the Fringe in August this year, if I don't have those leggings, I think I might just cry. Or I'll give myself until December. Maybe everybody will gift me these leggings for Christmas, and I'll just be swimming in these leggings, which would be oddly apt to the pitch I gave on that episode. And then Sunday, we're back here, we're doing this, and it kind of keeps repeating in that way. We've got special guests and chats with people. If you want to be one of those people who sits and answers the question, what is your approach to happiness, then hit me up, send me a message, just ask, just do. I'm very, very excited. There's lots of shares, there's lots of takeovers, there's lots of various different things. This lineup may also change. Just FYI, it may change because we are living in the moment. We are having fun, but the dates and times will never change. Just the content might turn around, and I might say, you know what? We're not going to just show you the podcast today. We're going to do something special, like on Sunday the 29th. Which is a live song recording with Joe and Jem. It's very, very apt. It's very, very related to the theatre show where this whole thing started from. And it's exciting because it means I get to write more stuff with Joe, which is always quite fun. So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you want to get involved with the Happiness Anonymous Share Show, just put your hand up, pigeon carry a message to me, whatever it is that you need to do, or just email the Happiness Anonymous Share at gmail.com, or just find me. But thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna give this episode up to 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to take it down because I know last week I tried to do that, and that episode is still up live in full because my internet has been down for most of this week, which has made
prepping for a online virtual show, really nerve-wracking. But I have sorted it out. I've run cables in and amongst creating custom pest dispensers and completely edible food containers. I'm really proud of that one. But I'll share that all tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'll be dolled up a little bit more. It's going to be exciting. And maybe if you've been drawn into this episode by the thumbnail of me dressed as a pirate, albeit not the best pirate I've ever dressed up as, because I was known for being dressed up as a pirate in university. Maybe I'll tell that story. But I'll probably share that with you tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.